impressed. Pressed juice. I like it. Do you like it? Now sponsored by Manga Tuesday. Yes, Manga Tuesday is sponsoring the orange juice. I sent them money and I'm going to promote them because I like orange juice. Not this particular one. I mean, it's fine. It's just orange juice. Let's get to the review. Hey, Manga Tuesday. Sneeze. Welcome back to Manga Tuesday, episode 138. It's me, it's DRC, and today we shall be reviewing I Will Forget This Feeling Someday, written by Yoru Sumino, who in a previous episode I referred to as a she, but new knowledge has come that he might actually be a he, but I can't confirm that either, so she, he, I don't know. If you know Japanese, it might be obvious if this is like a male name or a female name, but it might be ambiguous. It might be like Darcy or something and you got no idea. Anyway, that's not really relevant to the review, but what is relevant is this is not a manga. This is a light novel. And I know what you're thinking, Darcy, this is Manga Tuesday. What the hell are you doing? This has words? Yes. The reason, because fuck all these picture books. It's time Manga Tuesday grew up. Yoru Sumino is the same person that made I Had That Same Dream Again and I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. You might have heard of them from the popular manga and anime adaptations, but originally all of those were light novels, like I Will Forget This Feeling Someday. I Will Forget This Feeling Someday focuses on a young boy. He's the main character and he's sort of somewhat unlikable. Especially in the very beginning when you first get introduced to him, he's a bit just like, ugh, everything sucks. And he thinks he's special despite thinking he's not special, if that makes sense. He's come to the conclusion that nobody's special, including himself. And while he won't outright say it, he clearly, the way he speaks, he thinks that he's special for being the only one to figure this out, that nobody's special. Ooh. And then later on in the story, he actually does outright say like, I am special! So he can be a little, as the kids say, edgy. He's a little bit of a mentally troubled youth. Part of his rhetoric might be partly relatable to you. You know, sometimes he represents some of the more worse feelings that may reside deep within us, exaggerated. He's a bit of a loner, a bit of a recluse, socially inept, a bit socially awkward fella. Thinks he's better than people, even though he says he doesn't think he's better. He thinks everyone sucks, but you know the type. But anyways, the whole crux of this story really focuses on bonds between people, and it's all about this interaction and this relationship that he slowly develops with this strange being. Basically, he comes into contact with this girl from another sort of alternate universe, from a world that is not this world where he resides. They come in contact in this old abandoned bus shelter thingamajig or whatever, but he can't see her. He can only see lights where her eyes are and lights where her fingertips and her toe tips are. So she's just a few flickering lights. But she apparently can see his body entirely, and they're able to communicate with each other. They can both hear each other. And that's the main meat of the story, particularly in the first half, is them meeting across multiple different occasions and slowly learning about each other and about the differences in each other's worlds. It's very mystical, this girl that is just flickering lights. It's quite a fascinating imagery and other pretentious words. And I think that's when our main character is at his most likeable, is when he's interacting with her, because we see this softer side of him, and we sort of are experiencing this experience with him as we looking through the lens of his eyes and slowly learning about this mysterious girl as we become interested and intrigued, fascinated with her, and slowly begin to fall for her as he does. And as this goes on, we see him potentially beginning to maybe grow a bit, although in his personal life, outside of these interactions with the girl, he's still sort of the same old self. We don't see that much improvement, but you sort of hope that he will improve and get better. But some twists and turns happen, and he certainly, if anything, things go downhill for him. But I think when the manga is all said and done, when it ends, I can understand why people would hate the character, but I think he goes on a journey, and I think by the end of it, he finally has come out a better person, and he's genuinely, sincerely improving, and his ego has been destroyed in a sense, and he's come rebirthed a new man. But the very ending, when he returns home and then he crosses paths with someone right at the very end, it's just beautifully done. And the way things, and before that with the singer and the way things tie together, it's just a joy to read. And I think that's what the thing is, the book as a whole, it's very easy reading. It keeps you engaged, and it's easy to just breeze through. And I mentioned the singer. There is also, it's mentioned here, you can pause and read if it focuses, but there's an album that was made in conjunction with the book, in collaboration, I guess, or something, by the Backhorn, a work of mutual inspiration that crosses the boundaries of book and music. So I downloaded this album and would listen to it while I was reading this. It's only a short EP, like 5 songs, so if you are going to listen to it while reading this whole thing, it's going to repeat through a lot, but I think the music is good, and I think it's a nice mood setter. And there is one song that appears in the book that I think is one of the songs on the album. There's a song from the girl's world that she sings to the main character. It's this mysterious song that he can't quite comprehend. He's like, whoa, these sounds weird. I think one of the songs on the EP, or maybe the last 2 songs, which are like the same song but it's slightly different, I think those are that song that appears in the book, but I'm not 100% sure. But the album's got some bangers. Dancing to the music, it's epic. Whoa. A bond and a love that stretches across time and parallel dimensions. That 10 seconds there sums up the book better than I have for the rambling 5 minutes of the review so far. So we should I think that should be a step, another thing we do moving forward for Manga Tuesday. We're going to stop reviewing picture books. We're going to review actual books with words. We're also going to stop actually trying to use my own words and thoughts. Instead, we're just going to read the blurb and be like, there we go. Listen, the main character definitely has his flaws, and there's one thing he does that could make him especially unlikable to people. It's action. It's not direct, but actions he does results in the harming of an animal, which is something that immediately it's something that really gets people oh, you. But he's not meant to be loved unconditionally, this main character. He's a very flawed person, and he undergoes growth and undergoes a great fall and growth again, and it's engaging to watch his journey. And by the end of it, I think he is somewhat redeemed, at least in my eye. But yeah, the situation really sucks. That was upsetting and tragic. And I can understand if people could never forgive the main character for his indirect part in that. I read this a few months ago now, and I'm already beginning to forget, some parts of it. And someday, I will forget all the feelings that I felt while reading this. And someday, I will forget the feelings that I'm feeling right now while recording this. And someday, I'll forget that I even made this Manga Tuesday at all. But memories are fleeting. The feelings that we feel, can we really feel them later on? Or are we just remembering kind of what we think we felt? But do we really feel them anymore? Speaking of which, an update on my mangled penis situation. It still feels very excruciatingly painful. It's still irreparably mangled beyond belief. But I'm still also able to get through a full episode by taking painkillers beforehand. So, but yeah, there's some new discolorations in places around the cock and some swelling in different places, and I've still not seen a medical professional, but yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen here. The Trans Darcy arc may be happening much sooner than expected, but you know, I do have a concrete update to give. I've pissed, and even after pissing, I'm still not exactly sure where it came out of. There was multiple. It came out of multiple locations, and some of them it could not be seen exactly where it was coming out of. And I'll tell you, I'll never forget these feelings that I've been feeling the past week. Oh. Yeah! I just realised some of you might have missed last week's episode, so you might be very confused right now, so let me just clarify the situation. There was a self-performed botched circumcision. Extremely botched. Hope that clears things up. Anyways, I guess that pretty much sums things up. For a rating, I'd give it a 7.9999 recurring out of 10. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and as always and as... な世界で空っぽな心を埋めてゆく分け合った罪の重さの分だけ Well, that's irrelevant.